Good morning. Happy Sunday, everybody. We are so happy to have you join us here at Earth and Sky because we're doing our champagne and crystals celebration later today. I thought I would talk a little bit about crystals. And so let's say you have crystals, now what? What do you do with them? How do you use them? People talk about cleansing them. How do you cleanse them? Why do you need to clear them? How do you charge them? Sometimes it sounds very mystical when people talk about infusing them with Reiki or charging them with good energy. How do you do that? A lot of people will buy crystals because they're fascinated by them. They feel drawn to them, they get excited, and they get them home and they go, now what? And so they put them on a shelf and they like to look at them, but sometimes they wonder, is there something more I can be doing with these, or do I just leave them there and do they work from the shelf? So I want to answer a few of those questions for you in this video and hopefully get you to be able to use your crystals a little bit more and make them work for you. Develop that relationship with them and really get the most out of your crystals. So those are some of the most frequently asked questions I really get. And I think a lot of people are so drawn to crystals because they come up from the earth. They carry that vibration of Earth's energy. Many of them are formed under tremendous amounts of heat and pressure, and so it creates these really interesting energetic patterns within them. They come in a wide variety of colors and shapes and sizes and styles, and all of that adds to the level of energy that they have too. Everything in this life has a vibration rate to it. It's vibrational medicine is very, very fascinating. A lot of you have seen me as I've used the Tibetan singing bowls, and the bowls are all about vibrational medicine. So each bowl has its own rate that it resonates with. Every person has their own rate that they resonate with. When someone is very, very sick and they're getting near death, just as the soul is near slipping out, the body resonates at about 80 hertz. At about 280 hertz, a person is quite sick, probably very ill with cancer or something where they're really, really near the end that's been taking a long time tolling on the body. An average healthy person has a hertz rate between about 400 to 600, sometimes up to 800 if they're really happy and optimistic. When someone is doing healings, that hertz rate can go up over 1,000 sometimes. So we have a big variety of rates that we vibrate with. Well, crystals do the same thing. They've done a lot of studies where they measure the rate of crystals and see how much they vibrate, and that can tell us a little bit about what that crystal is good for too. Every chakra within the body has a different rate that it vibrates, and the lower chakras are a little closer to the Earth's energy vibration, which is lower energy. The higher up you go, the higher the frequency rate that chakra resonates with, which is kind of an easy way to be able to tell what different crystals will do. They don't all behave this way, but often the ones that are the deeper reds, the carnelians, the citrines, some of the orange, red, yellow, that family is all going to have a little bit of a lower, deeper vibration, which is very grounding, very stabilizing, really good for anybody that has a lot of anxiety because it'll help kind of slow things down and bridge that, bringing it down to a nice baseline. When you get up into the other ones, like the green and pink, which is the heart chakra, or the citrine, which is the solar plexus, either of those can really be considered center point. But then when you get higher than that, you go into the blues, the purples, and the whites, according to the chakra colors and the stones that resonate. Those usually vibrate at a much, much higher frequency and therefore really help it bring in those higher energies, those divine properties. So just as an easy way to kind of figure out if you're looking at stones and you don't know what does what, that can help you a little bit. And then how do you use your stones? So you can have them on a shelf. Simply having them in the room near you or carrying them on your body does do a lot all in itself, because it will work within the atmosphere. It will help raise the energy within the room, within your house. It'll help keep that vibration rate up a little bit. And a lot of times people will like to keep some of the smaller stones, maybe the tumbled rocks or any smaller stones. Sometimes they'll put them in like a little medicine bag or a pouch, or just carry them in your pocket or your purse. And as you carry those stones around, when you choose stones, that are working with the properties that you want to work with, then that energy is really going to bond with you even more. Some say that having it touching your skin works even greater. So if you have it on a necklace, put it under your shirt, and that energy is going to really resonate, especially if it's hanging around the heart chakra or maybe lower around the solar plexus chakra. It's going to really bring in that resonance, and it's going to start affecting your aura, which will help affect your health and your creativity, whatever energy properties you're wanting to work with, depending on the stone you're using. I've had a lot of people come to me that are empathic, so they feel like when they go out into large crowds, or sometimes even small crowds, they just feel like they're picking up on the energy, the emotion of all of the people around them. Sometimes it's people they know, sometimes it's people they don't know, but they get overwhelmed and they just want to retreat and go back to their house. There are stones that can really help with balancing that out so that you're not taking on everybody else's vibration. One of the stones that can really help with that is obsidian. Jet is another good one that will help with that. A lot of the darker colored stones will tend to absorb in negativity. They'll absorb those vibrations, and as it absorbs into the stone, then it keeps it off of you. So then you're not feeling all of it. It's going right on into the stone. Some people will wear the volcanic bracelets too, and those are really interesting because you can actually, on the lava stone, you can put essential oils. There are a lot of essential oils that will help with calming or protection or psychic protection, any of those things, which is really beneficial to empaths. You can put that on you and then just smell it during the day as well. But those darker colored stones tend to absorb that. I have frequently recommended kind of a triple trifecta of stones for empaths when they have people that come to their house and they really are trying to keep the energy in their house clean. Obsidian is one of those stones that I frequently recommend. Sometimes it's hematite, to really cater it to the individual, but obsidian and hematite are relatively similar with each other. And then the other one that I would add into that would be rose quartz, because rose quartz is really for the heart chakra, and it's a really good love, peace, harmony, calm stone. And so rose quartz, you do smaller ones than this. The size doesn't really need to matter as much, but you can put a little obsidian and rose quartz. And then the third one that I would do would be a clear quartz or a smoky quartz, depending on the person. Clear quartz is this clear stone, almost looks like glass sometimes. It's my absolute favorite of all of the stones. We'll probably get back to that in just a minute. But for people that are wanting to just kind of keep that energy clear in their home, you're wanting to keep people away that maybe drive you crazy a little bit. It doesn't work if they live in your house still as much, but it will keep the others away, and it can help absorb some of that energy. If you've got a lot of chaos going on in your house, it does really help to soften and absorb that. Rose quartz has a very soft, really comforting kind of an energy. It's almost like, I think of it as an ideal mother stone, because it has that very peaceful, unconditional love kind of a feeling that goes with it. And then the clear quartz, I mentioned that's my favorite stone. I think this vibrates at 768,000 hertz, if I remember right. And it's a fascinating stone for many, many different reasons. But this is going to be an amplifier to any other stones you have. Often I will use this one just on its own because with clear quartz you can program into it whatever it is you want to program in, whatever your intention is, whatever your wish is, whatever your goal is, you can program that into the clear quartz, which we'll get to in just a minute as well. Clear quartz is a fascinating stone too, because it will actually, an experiment you can do at home, if you put an ice cube on a piece of clear quartz and you also put an ice cube in your hand, it will melt faster on the clear quartz. We just did this experiment recently, and it's really interesting to watch that happen. And I do apologize for my voice. I'm kind of getting over the sickness. It seems the more I talk, the more watery everything sounds inside. But so that's a couple of the stones. That seems to be a trifecta that I recommend often. Either obsidian or hematite with the rose quartz and the clear quartz for people that just feel like they need a little bit of something to diffuse all of that energy they pick up everywhere. And then some of the other ones that are really interesting, carnelian is a fascinating stone to me. This is a stone of creativity. Carnelian is associated with the sacral chakra, which is the womb center, which means it's the heart and center of creativity. And this stone is very, very interesting specifically because I feel like it tells a story. Sometimes when you look into the patterns within stones, sometimes when they have little crevices like this one does, you can look at it and you can really feel like there's a story unfolding with the stone. And as you turn the stone around, you begin to see that story unfolding. Sometimes you might need to use a little bit of imagination with it or meditate with the stones you have. When you buy stones, another really good thing to do is to hold it in your hand and just meditate. Allow its energy to flow into you, allow your energy to flow into the stone. That's one of the ways that you can really bond with the stone and start working more synergistically together. After you do things like that, simply having it on the shelf in your house is going to have more an effect because you will be bonded with the stone a bit more. One of the other things I really do enjoy doing is working with crystal grids. I teach this in the Reiki Masterclass. Sometimes I teach a crystal grid class separate from the master class as well with a simpler version of the grid. But grids are a wonderful way to be able to use your crystals and have them really work for you. This grid here is the North Pole grid, so this is the one that William Rand had made. Well, it's a photo of it, but William Rand had this made out of copper and gold and had a lot of symbols put into it representing all of the religions. But basically what you do with these is you can have one crystal in the center of it, and you can mix and match the types of crystals that you're using with ones you have in your house. So usually I like to make the center one either one of the platonic solids, if you're working with sacred geometry, or I like to just keep it simple and use something that has a point at the top, because this is the master crystal right in the middle. So all of the intention, all of the energy that you're wanting to do as you're working with crystal magic, you'll infuse that intention right into the center stone here. And then you're going to charge up all of these stones around it. And if they have points, you want them to be pointed right into the center of the grid, because these are like the food or the fuel for the master crystal that's in the center. All of those crystals you're programming with your intention and having it send it right into this center crystal here. So I tend to charge them one crystal at a time, hold it in your hand, meditate with it. Think about what it is you're wanting to create in your life. What are you trying to draw to you? What do you want in your life? The possibilities are limitless in life. You really can write your own fate and create and manifest your destiny. And this is a great tool to be able to do that. So hold each crystal one at a time in your hand as you think about, focus on a mantra perhaps that represents what it is you're wanting to create. Place the master crystal on here first and then start placing all of those crystals around it that are fueling the crystal. And then the last one you're going to charge is the activator crystal. Not sure if you can see this on the camera, but it's just another small quartz. I tend to use the clear crystal quartz because it is my favorite stone and is so easy to program whatever you want into it. And then you'll draw lines from each of those crystals around the outside into that center stone. And as long as the activator crystal is on your board here, then that is sending energy out for what it is you want. So you can use these for healing other people. If you have somebody that needs a lot of healing and you've talked to them and they want to receive the healing, you can set up a crystal grid and it will continue to send 24/7 as long as you keep charging it and activating it periodically. I recommend about once a day. You can do like once a week if it's a really long-term grid as well. The more intention, the more energy you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it, just like anything else in life. And so you can allow that to continue working long term, and it's a great way to also bring in whatever you want to manifest in your life. Perhaps you need a new vehicle, or maybe you're thinking about moving and you're dreaming of what your dream home would be. Whatever it is you want to create, know that those possibilities are out there, and then be open and observant when things start to come in in, when resources start to flow to you, when opportunities flow, so you can seize those opportunities. Just like all other things in life, the crystals will help you as you're working to achieve your dreams, but they don't do it just on their own. You have to do some of that legwork and watch as those opportunities come in and seize those opportunities, but it will help make things come to you a bit easier than they normally would have, perhaps. You might start finding a lot of things, a lot of resources just suddenly open up and flow to you from sources you never would have thought of otherwise. So that's one of the ways that I really like to work with them. You can also program crystals just one at a time too. If you don't want to do an entire grid, you can take a single crystal and program it with your intention. Again, to program it, you're just going to hold it in your hand and think about what it is you're wanting to create. Perhaps making a mantra where you say the same words over and over as you think about manifesting it. You can do meditation where you're looking, your eyes are open, and you're looking at the facets of the crystal. You might start to see shapes or images that start to become noticeable within the facets of the crystal or the design work on the crystal that might give you a little bit of prophecy about what you're wanting to create too. And just really imparting that that thought process into the crystal to start getting it to work for you. Amethyst is one of my favorite stones as well. Quartz is by far my absolute favorite, but I do work with amethyst quite a bit. Amethyst is a really good truth stone and a really good protection stone as well. When you wear amethyst, or if you have an amethyst like this and you're charging it and you're adding your intention to it, it actually starts to create a beautiful shield around your aura. It's like this beautiful purple light iridescent shield that flows around you, that helps kind of field off any negativity. It sends it away, protects you, keeps you clear. By having amethyst in your home, it tends to keep people honest while they're in your home. It tends to help people to tell the truth. While I was at the gem show in Tucson, one of the gentlemen in front of me in line was buying this beautiful, huge amethyst sculpture, and as I was talking to him about it, he said his wife is a psychologist, so he thought it would be nice in her office. And what a perfect stone for that, to help people to bring out their honesty so they can have that personal growth and really increase and grow with the therapy that they're receiving. So really great stone. A lot of people, I found, seem to find that as one of their favorite stones is the amethyst. And one of the other ones that I also like to use is sodalite. Sodalite is associated with the throat chakra. Probably something I could be using right now. And it's an interesting stone because to me, in the larger forms like this, it really looks like the earth. A lot of times sodalite is more blue and white, but this one, it just really resembled looking like the earth. So I would think this would be a stone that could be great for helping to heal the earth, to help bridge, if you put the intention into it, that people are able to communicate clearly and well and peacefully with each other. That could be a really helpful thing to allow that energy to be programmed into it, and then just ask the stone to send that energy all around the world, wherever we need it, whether it's with dignitaries or leaders or people that are just on your block or in your community. We can always use a good stone for communication, for loyalty, for knowing your own truth so you can speak your own truth. All of that really is within the sodalite stone. This one is actually really good for a massage stone too. There's so many things you can do with stones. If you do massage therapy, these are great because they fit right in the palm of your hand, or perhaps you just want to use it as a massage stone with your significant other, and it works great because as you use these stones for massage, you're actually putting that energy throughout their body, the person you're massaging as well as yourself as you're holding it. If you're holding the stones in your left hand, it's a really great way to receive the energy of the stone. The left side of the body is the receptive side of the body, so even if you're doing massage work, you're receiving the stone's energy and you're sending it into your partner's energy by using it with the left hand. If you're using it with the right hand is your active side, so it's your sending side. So if I were to program this for communication and to help bring peace around the world, then you can receive the energy through your left hand And then once you feel like it's programmed, put it in your right hand and just envision as you meditate, envision that intent going all around the world. And then when you find a space, whether it's on your altar or your mantle or a table, whatever you have, you can set the stone down and know that it's continuing to send that energy out all over so that that communication can be bridged. Most issues, most arguments, it seems like, stem most generally from breakdowns within communication, more than somebody's will being different than someone else. Quite frequently, that seems to be the case. It's about finding ways to find common ground and bring that peaceful sense together. And celestite is a really good stone for also helping with that. Celestite is an incredible stone. I've just recently been really getting into the celestite stone, and it's really wonderful for bringing in divine energy. I mentioned in the beginning that the lighter up in color you go, the higher you're up generally you're going within the chakras. And so celestite is kind of a crown chakra stone. It does work also through the throat chakra. It really brings divine energy, the energy from the heavens all the way down from the divine, and it can bring it down into your body, it can bring it down into your house. This stone is one that will harmonize and balance all of the chakras. It's fantastic for realigning all of the chakras too. If you feel like you are a little out of balance and you just need to bring that alignment back in, or if you're working on learning to be intuitive and to draw in psychic abilities, especially if you're wanting to learn to talk to the angels and you're wanting to work more in the angelic realm, this is a perfect stone for that, the celestite. And when you're looking at stones, when you're trying to figure out what stones work for you, it's good also to look at the shape of the stone and to see if you can see any kind of a story within it. So this celestite really is kind of shaped like an egg, which to me would mention new beginnings, new birth, an ability to bring out a new beginning within the self, or opening up all of the divine aspects within the self, opening up the higher self, perhaps learning to draw in the higher self as a new beginning within itself. And this stone also has a star within it. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but several of these shards tend to form a star right in the center of it, which is a very strong symbol for magic or metaphysics. It brings in all of the elements within the star, and so this would be one of the more highly magical stones, just naturally on its own without even being programmed, just by what it is, the shape, and the style within it. So all of those are things that you can look at and consider. Carnelian is also a really good stone for motivation, for finding your drive again and bringing up your energy, your willpower. All of that comes with motivation. I'd mentioned obsidian being a really good protective stone. It also is great for warding off psychic attack, and it will help to just really, really protect you in strong, strong ways. It's quite a powerful stone. It's got a lot of kick to it to be your, like a protector, a bodyguard of the stones, maybe I would say. And so when you're using the stones, periodically you're going to need to cleanse them as well. That's one of the questions I get asked a lot. So how do you cleanse and clear them? We talked about charging them, where you hold them, you meditate with them. Another way for charging, before we get on to cleansing, another way for charging the stones that I do is a lot of times I'll take a clear quartz to charge my other stones. So I'll have it charged first, either from a lot of use or putting my intention into it, and then you can have the other stone, whatever stone you're wanting to charge, and then we'll just say we're programming this for that communication and for peace around the world. And so you can use your clear quartz and just run it over that stone. Find patterns, draw symbols that have a lot of meaning for you, and then just imagine as you draw it closer to it, you're sending that energy right into it. The breath is very powerful. Sometimes I'll even add the breath in too. Once I'm done with drawing whatever symbols I want to draw around it, then I'll breathe into it too. And just imagining that is sending it in and sealing it and then just kind of closing it off and sealing it. It's very simple to charge the stones. You can spend more time meditating with it if you like, but that's pretty much the process of charging them. And then let's say you're ready to cleanse the stone. You want to clear it out. You feel like it's been working really hard. Maybe you've had something like this obsidian by your front door for a while, or maybe you've been wearing it because you need it at work and at home and when you're at the grocery store, and so you just really want to have it on you all the time, and you've been around a lot of people, so it's time to clear it out. A few things you can do for that. If you don't want to go outside, you can just take a tray of salt, use some kind of container you have in your kitchen, some kind of bowl, fill it with salt, and just drop this in there gently. Shake the salt around it so it's submerged in the salt. Salt is wonderful for cleansing, clearing, clarifying, and releasing. So I would leave it in there for about 24 hours or so it just clears away all of that energy. You can also bury it in the backyard if you want to bury it and leave it for maybe a couple days, a day or two if you want. Maybe do that under the full moon's light, and then allow that, some people will even allow our full moon cycle to go over if they feel like they've used the stones a lot and they really just want them cleared completely and brought back to as if they were freshly mined up from the earth. You can do that. Or you can bury it, just before the moon gets full and leave it out there until the moon is just starting to wane out of its fullness. That works as well. Some people can't bear to have their stones underground for very long, so they will bury them at dusk and bring them back up at sunrise. It's up to you, but having them in the earth really does seem to help them. It makes them really happy. They feel good. If you're good at sensing energy, you'll notice the difference in how your stones feel as you dig them up from the ground as well. Or you can put them out in the moonlight, maybe have a container, so if you're concerned about losing the stones outside, put them in a container and then just allow the moonlight to wash over them. Some people like to wash them in the sunlight, so you can have them outside during the day and then just bring them in either that night or after a couple nights. I've talked to some people, I haven't done it myself, but I have talked to some people who like to put them out in the rainstorm too, because you figure when they're underground, they have a lot of heat and a lot of pressure, and that really works well with helping to create the crystallization process within them too. So some feel like having the energy of the rainstorm pounding down on them is very, very cleansing and energizing, whereas when you just bury them, a lot of that just clears the energy. If they're in the thunderstorm with the lightning and the rain and everything, they're going to be cleansed and energetically charged with all of that energy that's out there as well. Anytime you cleanse the stone, when you're ready to start using it again, or perhaps you want to do it right when you bring it back inside, go ahead and charge it. Charge it up with your energy, put your intent into it. If you don't have something specific that you're wishing for with it, just hold it and think about the love energy that you want to put into it. Think about your intention for harmony, for peace, for balance. Whatever it is you want in your life as a general, those are all great things to go ahead and just program into it. And it's always a nice idea to just thank your crystals for working with you too. They do have an essence about them too, an essence and an energy. So just feeling gratitude for the earth and all of these beautiful things that she creates for us, and having the crystals within your life. I hope that answers some of those frequently asked questions that I get asked about. So I have crystals, now what? And if you haven't already, please hit the like button on our video. We love it when you share it out with your friends. We always enjoy the feedback that we get from all of you. And if you are coming to our Champagne and Crystals reception, where we will have about 600 pounds of crystals for sale today, I will look forward to seeing you this afternoon. Have a great day, everybody.